This is the Crystal Chronicles, your Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia podcast, with Aaro, Chris, and Mark, bringing you all your DFFOO news and talk. Welcome to Season 4, the LGBT era. Now let's start the show.
Welcome, everybody, to tonight's Town Hall debate. We've been waiting for it for a long time, and here it is, finally. Relm versus Strago, grandfather versus granddaughter, depends versus Pampers. Who will win the most valuable on the banner award? Well, let's find out together. This is Mark. And this is the Crystal Chronicles. Welcome to episode 124. Recorded on this October 22nd, 2020. We welcome you. So glad that you have an opportunity to join us and to chat DFFOO. Now, we're sad that our co-host and experienced professor of evaluations cannot join us tonight, Chris. He had a family, it's an emergency, but it's not really an emergency. Everyone's fine. Emergency commitment. And it's to be fair, I'm surprised this doesn't happen more often, considering all the people we have on in our lives and everything else. So Chris is okay, but he's helping his family members right now. But I am joined by my co-host. You know her, Aaro. Aaro, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing awesome, Mark. I did my research in Chris's absence, so I'm hoping we together will make this. We can be professors ourselves just for an evening.
And thank you, Infamous Element, and I think HaateXIII and Aaro for the subscriptions. I do appreciate everyone who decides to sub to our podcast. It does help the costs of the ongoing podcast and getting it out to all those people who might want to listen to it in various different ways. And yes, if you sub tonight, apparently you get crazy emotes thrown out here, there, and everywhere. Well, let's get to the news of the day. It's not just who's the better person on the banner, Relm or Strago, but we'll get to that. There are all kinds of things happening in the life of the game. There's a costume. I think we've already had it before, right, Aaro? The Emperor costume? Or is this new for us? This is new.
I think this is new. Yeah, I don't recall this being around on its initial event. So very exciting. I'm really sad they didn't also give us the Furion costume maybe early, but I knew better to expect that because he's considered garbage right now. My poor boy.
Yeah, we tend to see the costumes in Japan before we get them in global. So I never remember which costume is new and which costume is not. But it sounds like chat is confirming that this is a new costume. It's a business casual Emperor. So not as flashy as David Bowie. So Ash is the real prize. Oh, we'll get to that. I need all three of those EXs, so that may be the real prize at the end of the night. But you can get Emperor's costume if that's something you're interested in. Of course, we do have those special autumn packages. There's all kinds of sales going on, but the ones that come with books and ingots that are, as Joshua said on stream, a great value. So you can determine that yourself, but they are there. Let's talk about TCC Challenge because we have a couple of them for tonight. So let's get to that quickly. The Edward Lost Chapter, Love, the Melody of Courage, banned a whole bunch of people. You can see them all there. Synergy characters, Eldnar, Samita Tillian, 9? I never remember which one is which. 9 and Trey, right? Bosch, Afmo, Desh, Gabranth, and Noctis, Arden, of course. No burst mode. And the extreme was never have more than 2 debuffs affecting the enemy at the same time. Same ban list, no friend unit, only Chocobo or Spirit Moogle. So, hey, there is a lot of people that got the TCC and TCC Extreme Challenge. So gaze upon them in glory. And Aaro, I think you wanted to highlight Dystopia tonight.
I did Dystopia. They are a group on YouTube that are also now starting their own challenges. Theirs, I think, was a little bit different. I think you had to use a blue crystal character. Oh my gosh, I did not have the Dystopia advert challenge right now, but they do post them on Facebook. I saw it there. That's where I saw it. I don't know if they're posting it on their YouTube channel as well, but I will be linking the YouTube channel to the Dystopia group. It is a couple of different people. I believe there's Swifty, Clay, Quayne, and there's one more, but it's, yeah. Do you remember the last guy's name by any chance, Mark? Because I believe there are 4 of them.
Yeah, there's a group of them. I do see Swifty and Clay and Quayne on our TCC challenge list. But yeah, I believe Quayne and Clay I see most often, but Swifty, yeah, there's a couple others. Maybe we'll see it in the next one here. So, but check out Dystopia. They kind of share a YouTube channel, and Aaro is sharing that, and we'll have that in our notes as well. Dystopia, DISSOPIA. So there you go.
Yes, and the best part about their channel is, like I said, they're a group. So that they're doing every event with each member, and they do different runs with different characters. Yeah. It's pretty cool. So they've been doing this for a while now. So it's very exciting. You can definitely go back and see how have they handled content throughout the Chaos era. Very fun.
Yeah. Well, check them out, and we're going to try to highlight somebody every week in the TCC Challenge bracket. So we also did Intercession of the Wicked. That would be the Kefka Heretics TCC Challenge. We banned all the feature characters, including Kefka, Shadow, Aerith, Freya, Seymour, and Lys, along with Arden, Noctis, Kais, Amita Tillion, Edward, Machina, Gabranth, and again, I never remember which of these guys. It's either Nine or Trey. Which one is that with the longer hair?
That's Trey there.
Trey. I cannot tell Trey and Nine apart. So Trey has the longer hair, and yeah, what's the other one look like?
Nine has that crazy, like, confident look to him. You know, he's got
over the shoulder. Yeah. Okay.
He's the wild teenager.
They all look the same to me, and that's not racist. Extreme was no healing allowed, not even self-healing. And, of course, no friend, no burst mode, no summons except for Chocobo and Spirit Moogle. And we had a whole bunch of people win this as well. So check out all those wonderful people from the TCC Challenge and TCC Challenge Extreme. And yeah, again, I see Clay, Swifty, and Quayne on Dystopia, at least on the TCC Challenge. So there you go. Congratulations. If you are interested in participating, yeah, if you throw in Jack, it is a real mess, Jake. Yeah, I have no idea. All these blonde kids, they all look the same. If you are interested in participating in the Crystal Chronicles TCC Challenge, you can go to DissidiaInfo.com. Our friend Macno runs that site, and apply there. Of course, you can always learn about what ongoing TCC challenges are happening on our Twitter, on our Facebook, and in our Discord. All right. Well, that brings us to actual news in the game. We have a late August Chocobo panel, and so we also currently have the second autumn Chocobo panel, but we are in day 7 out of 8 of the August Chocobo panel, so make sure you're, you have to do, I think, 10 with Relm and 10 with one of the guys. 10 with somebody else. Who else was on that Chocobo panel? Let me look. Furion, I think. Yeah, oh, yeah, the game just updated, so I think it's Furion and Realm.
Let me check myself.
Anyway, make sure you check and you get everything you need to. Obviously, if you do the co-ops, if you do Emperor's LC, you'll get all the enemies. But Macnol, again, on DissidiaInfo.com, has guides to each of those Chocobo panels if you want to get them real good. So, check out that.
Oh, you know what? Speaking of, I guess don't forget that they also, I guess this probably falls under Autumn Festival more, but they have added the other tags to get tickets for. So make sure you use FF10, FF11, FF12, 13, and 13 too, 14 and 15, and Type 0 and FFT's protagonist to and let me not forget the man himself, Lael from Crystal Chronicles. Yep. And if you use those guys one time in any quest, you will get 3 more tickets for each one of those. Don't forget about it. It's very easy to miss in the events tab.
That is exactly what I was thinking about that I didn't add. Evil Kong, yes, Emperor is synergy for the upcoming event and the upcoming co-op for Strago's event. But yes, remember, we are getting a ticket for using all of the protagonists, excuse me, from FF1 to all of the specials. So every character in that banner, the EX Protag banner, you need to use them in at least one mission, and you get 3 tickets, I believe. So we had the first half already available, I think last night, 2 nights ago. The second half became available. So you have all of the characters with all the spin-off games. So Vincent, Zack, Sarah, plus, Ramza, Lael, and who else was in there? Yuri's not in there because it's Lael.
Sarah is an easy one to potentially miss. Do not forget her.
She's the one that I forgot. I'm like, I'm still missing one. So just go into your missions and make sure that you get all those because, hey, it's free tickets for just running, do it while you're doing mobs or, just kind of regular nodes. You can run through and do that real quick or just grind the, one of the World Evolutions here for a couple minutes and you'll get it done real quick. We also got a new Autumn co-op with a new Autumn co-op shop. So we had this special level 70, level 100. Yes, and Macnell's reminding us if anyone has not cleaned up the shop from the first festival co-op, the fight is going away in less than 1 hour. So make sure that you do that if you're listening later. It's already gone, but there is a new shop and a new co-op, so make sure that you pay attention to that. And the new co-op is a soul cage, the big tree that sets himself on fire. And I co-op today with a Vivi. I don't know that the Vivi was serious or trolling, but I was playing Onion Knight, and then there was a Garnet in the party, and then there was a Vivi. And so that was a very interesting fight as Garnet and Onion Knight kept putting out the fire, and Vivi kept starting the fire. I hope your co-ops have been better, Aaro. Who do you bring to these kind of dumb co-ops that are easy? Everyone's synergy.
I have to complain. Why are there elemental nulls and absorbs with wind here? You're supposed to be able to use any one you want. Why put any elemental resistances, absorbs, or anything? It just annoys me because I accidentally took Sid not knowing this. I feel so bad about that. Like I'm so sorry, persons, that I did that too. I honestly didn't mean to troll you, and I feel like I did. But it really bothers me on like that level. Like you're supposed to just have fun bringing whoever you want to a little dinky co-op. And it's just, it's supposed to be a fun way to just go back and play characters who haven't maybe mattered in ages. But I just feel so bad about the whole thing. And that's a rant from me because it just annoys me. I can't even I was so upset. I yelled I was just like, oh my God, why did I do this to these people? I feel so bad. So yes, please, Squags, going forward, make these co-ops not have any resistances or anything at all. They're supposed to be just for fun, truly just for fun.
Yeah, these are kind of bring whoever you want. Although I will say Onion Knight is definitively the best character with the enchant all ice. So I've been using him. You're welcome, everyone out there on random co-op land for the use of my enchant all ice. Yeah, we don't have Kurosame yet, so you're stuck with Onion Knight. Or Cater or Snow, but Onion Knight can enchant everybody, which is nice. So make sure you do not neglect, because we're going to get another new co-op tonight. So yeah, we've had a whole bunch of co-ops kind of packed in together, but the level 70 co-ops or the level 100, level 70 co-ops, the Autumn Festival co-ops, you can do, you can run them a couple times and kind of 2 runs with a 3 times book, you're done. So 3 or 4 runs with a 2 times book, you're done. And you can go on to the new event co-op, which launches in 44 minutes. Also, we have the announcement of the upcoming artifact Quality of Life. So I don't know how early this is compared to Japan, but I feel like it's a little bit early. I don't think they got it right as they got Lufania, and that's looking like when we're going to get it. We're going to get it kind of right along with Lufania. Now, our friend Black Nero on YouTube, Black Cloud, he did a wonderful video, and I think 40 just did a video as well that just came out before the show started on what this artifact quality of life is. Now, we don't know exactly what we're getting because it hasn't completely been announced in-game, but what we do know from Japan, if we get it exactly like they got it, we have a new level of artifacts which guarantee double orange. So no more, attack 36, 1-star crap. They guarantee orange. You also get elements or another type of consumable item that you can use to upgrade artifacts. And you're able to potentially do multiple artifacts at once, up to 10. So combining up to 10 artifacts all in one go. So they're still random. There's still a lot of RNG. You don't get more artifacts than you used to get. You're still kind of in the same realm of artifact generation, but you're able to combine them faster, and you're able to get double orange continuously as opposed to just every once in a while. So Aaro has shared both the video from Black Cloud, Black Nero on YouTube, and the Broadway Saiyan 40, our friends. So you can check out that a little bit more. And we'll talk about it more when it comes in our game. But look out for that. You may not be wanting to grind a lot of artifacts right now or grind a lot of artifact tokens. You may want to wait for that quality of life because it's going to make things a little easier. Artifacts are still frustrating. There's still a lot of RNG. You can watch the videos and see them kind of run through 10 double orange and still have 10 pieces of crap that they don't want. But I think it's going to be a nice quality of life. I'm glad we're getting it potentially a little sooner than we expected. Aaro, any thoughts about this? I don't know, kind of how much do you go into artifacts?
I just do most of the time enough to get good stuff. I mean, I do farm a little bit, but I get tired of getting trolled and then I just give up. Sometimes I just wind up with good enough and I go, yeah, that's fine. So like the primary stat, 108 or 330, 170, whatever that happens to be for the character, I make sure I get 3 of that at least, or the C50 or whatever it is. But after that, everything else is super duper gravy to me. And that's never hurt me on beating content, honestly. So I think it's not going to change going forward, but it's going to be nice to look at a bunch of characters who might just have very good double oranges. And there's no more trolling 65 1-star Aether Flow boost from my boy Alphanaut. I swear I have gotten so many of those. I am sick to death of it. Anyway, hopefully next time when he's Synergy, I can finally get the true best in slots for him. So there we go. That's where I'm going to leave it.
Yeah, overall, it should make the grind easier, and it should also take up a little less time. Being able to combine 5 or 10 at once is going to save a little bit of time, because that's running co-ops can take 15 minutes, and then combining artifacts can take an hour and a half. So that has been a problem. So hopefully we can make that a little easier. So there are things on the way. Of course, we have a planned Squex community stream on Monday with talking about the next 2 cycles or the next month of the game, including our introduction to Lufania. So the next tier of difficulty, which we'll talk about next week, obviously, but that is something to look forward to. So between last time we met and today, we did get a new lost chapter, and that is Emperor's lost chapter, Dastardly Dominus. Now, this brought back Emperor, who is a character we already had, who is famous for traps. Now, he did not get a rework, but he did get a limited weapon, or an LD weapon. His LD weapon allows him to equip the power or ability Hellish Gale, which is he gets 3 uses of. It triggers all of his traps, even if they're inactive. So if you don't know how this works, it's really cool. Even if you go out, if you press LD, the first action of the game, none of the traps are on any of the enemies. all of his traps, all 3 of his traps, remember he's got 3 skill 1 trap, skill 2 trap, EX trap. All 3 traps will trigger on all enemies when he uses his LD, regardless of whether they are there or not. Very, very cool. It also then does a fairly powerful AoE HP attack that does splash damage. So one enemy takes the full damage, the other enemy takes half. And then it gives him a 12-turn framed buff. And this buff, pretty much, it's called Subjugation Scheme. It pretty much gives Emperor everything he needs. Of course, with his LD, limit breaks also gives him a little bit more boost. But his 12-turn buff gives him more attack, more I Brave, Overflow, and Brave Regen. So things he needed to make him a more effective character. He gets 12 turns of that, so 36 turns. Of course, I believe that can be extended, but I don't know that for sure. In addition to this, this unlocks his HP+++ and Brave+++, which are very excellent because his Brave++ and his HP++ now trigger his traps. Now, you actually have to have the traps on there. So, for example, if you use his EX ability, all 3 traps are, unless you're playing with Kefka or Metatilian, all 3 traps are on the enemies. And if you follow up with an HP attack, all 3 traps are triggered. So as before, you either had to use his, we had, when Emperor first came out, you had this thing where you brought in one Emperor and then you brought in Friend Emperor and you triggered the traps with the EXs. So when you hit one EX, it triggered the other traps and you kind of went back and forth triggering traps. Now all he has to do is have a follow-up attack and trigger his traps with an HP+++. Now, that makes Delayers and Emperor very, very good. And Metatilian and Emperor actually do fine together because he has 3 frame debuffs, 3 traps. Metatilian has 3 frame debuffs as well. So they do pair well together, especially with the speed downs. But, every time you delete a turn, every time you delay, I've been using Quistis and Emperor, it gives you more turns to trigger his traps, especially after his LD. So he takes a little bit. Oh, Emmy has 4 frame buffs total. He starts with 3. The enemies start with 3. So if you play it right, it's not that big of a deal. Yeah, if you use his LD. So, but yeah, either way. Yeah, just don't use his LD. Come on, guys. Don't use his LD. Why would you want to use his LD? It's not important. Make sure the traps are on and then use the LD. Anyway, if you can delay the opponent, if you can grant speed to your team, if you can give Emperor extra turns after his EX, that will allow even more damage and great follow-up. Of course, you can do that in Summon. Eventually, he will get a burst weapon, and so that's crazy when he gets his burst because he's just doing lots of trap damage. But it basically bumps Emperor up to a viable combat damage-dealing character. He's certainly not the overwhelmingly best character we've had. But, if you enjoyed the trap mechanic, his trap mechanic now is more viable. Thank you, Taz, for the subscription, and thank you all who have been subscribing. So, Aaro, thoughts on Emperor? I know you didn't pull on him, and you're not a big fan of enemies, but, what do you think? I mean, I know you like characters that have kind of trap mechanics and things like that.
I'm going to tell you that LD is really fun to play with as a friend unit. I'm going to leave it there. That animation's pretty slick, too. Just seeing all the damage going up. I don't know. It's just really fun. Now, how good I think he'll be when he's not boosted anymore, that's a little harder to say. I mean, with Lufania right around the corner, I just don't know. But I know he comes back later, and he seems pretty good, so I'll just go with that. If you want to get this LD now, so you can pull for Celis later.
Yeah.
I totally don't blame you. Hey, and then you get to enjoy him for 2 challenge quest events, hopefully, too. Hopefully you've got 2 other characters you can tag along with them. But even if not, hey, you can still use him for these 2 events. He's boosted. He comes back boosted again later. So, I mean, it's not too bad of a deal. And he seems like the kind of character that would make summon grinds really easy, too, if you're still needing somebody to just be a super damage dealer. I personally use Kistis, but I think Emperor is a great replacement if you didn't have her or you just really wanted somebody else to help you with that kind of thing. I think it's cool LD. it does take some setup, but Emperor's always been about setups. So to me, it just kind of fits in theme. I like it. It's fun to play with. Personally, if you think you would enjoy trying the trap mechanics out, this is a great character to do it with.
Yeah, so Emperor does come back, just like Ultimecia will, with a burst weapon. We don't usually talk about that, but I think it's somewhat appropriate. If you already have his LD, his counterbalance, so other opportunities to get his burst weapon, will be on Celeste LD, Aerith LD, and Eldnarsh LD. He will also be synergy on Arenea's event. So he has several more times of being synergy. So he's a pretty good investment, especially if you can ticket him like I did. If you already had him built up, especially before, because he was fairly powerful, his original go. Kylus, thank you for the subscription. And yeah, Ray reminds us that Emperor can solo Dimensions and Entropy Tier 6. That is what it is. If that's something that you're excited about, you can check out Vane Novus and some of our other friends who are big on the solos. That's certainly nothing that I'm ever excited about, as I have an overabundance of characters. I don't, want to do that, but I know some people really do enjoy that. So feel free to do that. Well, again, fairly simple, kind of just Aerith LD is a folding chair. I have an image of that actually on my phone. So the folding chair weapon. That is great. Spoilers. Sorry, spoilers. Unless you don't know what I'm talking about, then it's not a spoiler. So at the end of the day, Emperor just got a boost, and he got the boost he needed, just like Ultimecia, just like a lot of other characters. So not necessarily, unless he's a favorite, somebody I would go ham for, but if you can pick him up as you're trying to search for Kefka's BT like me, he's a pretty good have for 30 tickets or whatever it cost me. All right, well, there is a chaos for this fight, and we find a swarm fly with two small swarm flies. These are annoying bugs. They don't have any HP. They die really quick. So they do have some debuffs: poison, speed down, turn rate down, attack down, but at the end of the day, they're pretty easy. The new enemies are scorpions. They are metallic scorpion types, and they're not particularly challenging, but they have a ton of HP, and of course, they start with brave damage reduction right off the gate, 30% brave damage reduction. They have something like 4 million HP, I think, each. It's just ridiculous amount of HP. So, challenge quests, you're seeing 80, 90, even 100 turn challenge quests as people are bringing, Furion 35 only, Greg EX only. So there's a lot of different ways to do that, especially if you have Kefka LD and Emperor LD. But I think I've seen a clear on this with just EX only, with no LD. So it's really more about spacing yourself, because they have a ton of HP, and watching out for their big attack. They have one big attack, one AoE HP attack called Ferrum Laser. Recovers from break, increases their brave, AoE HP attack. It's a magic attack. They're going to do that, first of all, because it's an all attack, but they do have another all attack that's brave. But they always do brave charge, which increases their brave and is an instant turn rate. Their next action is always laser. So if you bring Kefka, you can just completely silence them. And so, it's kind of just slog of a fight, right? It just kind of takes some time to get through it. Not the most difficult fight. I think the fight that we're going to see tonight is a little bit more challenging, but Aaro, I know you've tackled this fight a few times. What are your comments about it?
Okay, so there is one thing you do have to look out for. Is I noticed, like, when they get near dead, they'll both decide they want to charge for the Ferrum Laser attack. You got to watch out for that, because if you probably get hit with that back to back and you don't have a way to tank that, you're dead. There's just no getting around it. They're going to do like 15, 20K to you. It gets ridiculous. Another thing, if you kill them, be careful when you kill one, because the other one will brave gain immediately. And, they get a stat raise and all that. And then they're going to charge for the Ferrum Laser, I believe, as well. This is what happened to me every time, at least. And I did a team. I have the video uploaded. I got to just post it. But I used Arden, Aerith, and Rydia. And I had my Rydia die because of this whole situation. And I had to like waste a couple turns to bring her back to life with Aerith. And I would have sacked the run otherwise, but I made the score and everything. And I thought it was funny enough. So I'm letting it go. I will be uploading it very soon, or at least posting it, really soon. But that's the main thing you got to watch out for, because if they decide to do that attack back-to-back, it's going to kill a lot of parties, unless you have like some way to, like I said, to just deal with the HP damage. And then you can't poison them. You have to use like frame skills to do poisons. So that's another thing to keep in mind, is a way to counter what they're doing. Otherwise, yeah, it's not too bad. It's just that both of them having 4 mil HP, it just really does feel like a long fight. Even with like the team I used, it still just felt like it took forever. And I don't even know how I got the turn count I did, like under 50. But there you go. So I don't have anything else to add. Mark, do you have anything else to add?
No, it's just one of those, they're just HP sponges, and it's not my favorite thing to do. So I haven't even done the challenge quest yet, because I haven't had the time to just kind of sit, knowing it would take 20 minutes or so to focus, juggling. I did the chaos with Emperor, Kefka, and Firion. And I did not get the juggling debuffs right. I beat it fine. I didn't have any problems, but I definitely could have played the juggling debuffs a lot better. I brought a friend unit, so that wasn't an issue for the regular chaos. So it's very doable. You got to pay attention, and I haven't had 20 minutes to really focus on the game like that. But it's very doable. DissidiaFFOO.com. There's all kinds of runs. We do, surprise, surprise, have a TCC challenge. I can't show it up on the screen right now, but I do have one for you. The TCC challenge for Emperor's Lost Chapter will ban the synergy characters, which would be Firion, Emperor, Greg. You can also use Greg in this. And that's Gilgamesh for those of you at home. And Kefka. We are also banning Bosch, Arden, Noctis, Kais, Amidatillion, Zaz, Aphmau, Edward, Machina, Kamari, Trey, and Leon. I'll read that list. Synergy, Bosch, Arden, Noctis, Kais, Amidatillion, Zaz, Aphmau, Edward, Machina, Kamari, Trey, and Leon. We'll be sharing these in our Discord, on Facebook, on Twitter, and of course, DissidiaFFOO.com. You can find all of this. Arciela is not banned. There you go. TCC Extreme, Mako Reactor Flashback. That's this extreme. Bring at least one Final Fantasy VII character, and I don't believe any of them are banned. So anyone you want. And if you can bring 3, good luck. I think that'd be even more fun. If you can bring only that's not the requirement. You have to bring at least one Final Fantasy VII character. And it's been a while since any of them were updated, so good luck.
The most up-to-date ones are Sid and Aerith right now, because Aerith got her character boards recently, and that kind of made her pretty good. So, and Sid just got EX Plus. So, and hey, Kate, he has a Ketchi. He has his character board. So, if you want to take an iBrave Regen guy, he's your man.
I just co-opted with the Cloud, so there's that. It was level 100. Oh, Barrett. Yeah, Barrett got it. Barrett's in this game too, right?
Yeah, he's there. He's got character boards.
That is.
Zach also got his character boards. There's some good choices here. I think somebody can make almost most of these characters work in one way or another. So, guys, I hope you have fun with the challenge as always, and we'll be looking forward to seeing some of those runs get posted very, very soon.
Good luck, and we'll check back in next week. Now, in 24 minutes, we have a new event. An event that has had a lot of hype. And mostly the hype is, who's the prize of the banner, Strago or Realm? And our good friend Black Nero, Black Cloud, has a wonderful video about that. And I thought all the content creators that I've watched so far, Josepher, Broadway Saiyan, Munchkins, I don't think that there's been a video for Lidge yet, but I thought all of them addressed this kind of issue. Even I think Josepher saying that he kind of changed his opinion about who was better, Relm or Strago. So let's talk briefly about them. Unfortunately, Strago's not in the game yet, so we're just kind of going on what we have information-wise and Japanese players' experience. And I don't have. Do you have Relm? Do you have any experience with Relm, Aaro? Because I do not.
Very little.
That's kind of what I thought.
That's kind of what I thought.
So we're probably not the best two people to be talking about this. I did try to get some of our friends on who were much more invested in this. And unfortunately, all of them were either, working or sleeping or all of that kind of stuff. So we may have a special guest join us here in a second to talk about them. But let me just run through kind of briefly what these two characters get. So Relm gets a rework and a EX realization. If you're not familiar with Relm, Relm has been kind of a magic attacking, turn manipulation, supporting debuff character with the special ability Sketch. So she puts Sketch on a character and then her turns jump. She also changes her kit depending on which summon is equipped. So she can have elemental damage for pretty much any element that we have a summon for, which right now is all of them. So that made Relm one of the most unique characters in the game. What did she get with her rework and EX realization? Well, just a couple things overall, what did she get? Now her ability to use Sketch is pretty much consistent through the game. So before you would put Sketch, it would run out, have to put it again, and you'd eventually run out of uses. Now her EX is super fast. It just got ramped up in speed. So her EX re-puts on Sketch. Of course, skill 2, she has 10 uses of that. That puts on Sketch. Her HP ++ and Brave ++ extend her turns of her own buffs and debuffs, excuse me. No, that's her buffs. Yeah. So it extends it a little bit as well. Her own buffs get extended. Her debuffs do not. But anyway, so her ability to keep Sketch on is considerable. And of course, she has more potent auras. She has the ability to basically do elemental damage, and that is really what makes her, in one sense, Luvania viable, because there are Luvania orbs, and we'll talk about this more next week, that you need elements to counter. So this will allow us to bring her if we don't have other party members that can cover those elements. The problem is there will be other Lufanias where she will eat through turns because of Sketch. She will have so many turns that she will eat through the orb count and you will die. So she's not good on all Lufanias. In fact, she's only good on a few. Oh, well, since Aaro and I don't have anything to particularly say about Relm, let's hear from Relm's biggest fan, Mino Spellgood. Mino, do you have anything to add to this conversation about Relm and her rework and EX realization?
What's happening?
Did you want to say anything about Relm?
Oh, yeah, there's been a lot of controversy about Relm, and there's a lot of hype that I don't know if I can fully condone, because Relm is what Relm has always been, okay? Like, Relm was a late release right before Chaos came, and a lot of people are like, look, Relm can be used in Chaos for months and months on end, and I believe we have a couple of champions here, like Belial, who's run like dozens and dozens of fights with Relm, and it was Ink, right? Ink ran like 20-something Chaos fights with Relm too, when she only had a base EX. Yeah. It is very possible. She is a good filler character. Are most people going to get that mileage out of her? I really doubt it. As usual, we say there's no like perfect character that's going to carry your team. Relm is not a carry. She fills holes in your roster. For example, one of the first summon that gets the level 40 cap raised is Diablos.
Yeah.
And as usual, whenever a new summon gets raised up, they're the go-to summon. When Diablos hits the new level cap, there are a lot of fights that want dark damage done. And Relm can fill that. She needs to be carried with more recent units and DPS and stuff. So technically, it is true. Realm can be used for months on end. Will she be the easiest solution for months on end? Fuck no. Are most people gonna use her or, have the patience to do so? I really doubt it. But at the very least, for the next month into early Lufania, when the orb restrictions aren't too strict and the stats are basically just chaos with an orb condition, she is good filler if you don't want to pull on, say, Warrior of Light or 8 or Gao, because these are a lot of characters that aren't that much very popular, right? And I'm sure a lot of people probably want to save their gems for Lightning, Ramza, Cloud, Turks, all the big ones coming on. So I really do think Realm has value, but it really depends on the individual player. If you want to talk about value, we could talk about Strago, the next character coming up. But since you guys said you don't really have much experience with Realm, to cover the basics for a lot of people who probably haven't seen this character in over a year now, she's a turn stealer. Her rework. Wait, did you cover the kit yet, Mark?
I just did some overview of it. But yeah, if you have anything to add, that would be great.
Right. Basically, it's a lot of reliance on Sketch. Sketch works exactly like... Shit, I forgot. Was it?
It's that fatty El Narsho.
There you go.
Him, the El Narsh,
right.
El Nocturoni. Yep.
Thank you. And so as long as that debuff is up, I think it's less duration than War, but she just like Eldnarsh, she can really cheese the free turns. On her free turns, she can summon or call friends and extend things like crazy. So just like Eldnarsh, Ink and Tonberry Troupe put out videos a long time ago where that Realm friend got like 30-something turns in a run, probably even more. So if you like shenanigans and you liked Eldnarsh's playstyle and you want to carry that into the new era, because as we said, with Lufania coming, team restrictions are going to lessen so that you bring one person to deal with the orbs and then 2 people to do whatever you want to do. And Realm can really fill up that slot. If you want to lessen your pulls in November, it's a good pick. If you really like turn manipulation and free turn jank, it's a good pick. The elemental variety is really good. Once again, every new summon is always going to be favored. When Bahamut comes up, there's going to be fights that want you to bring Bahamut. When Diablos comes up, there's fights that want you to bring Diablos. I know a lot of people aren't going to specifically be pulling like Earth or Dark just to do Lufanias. So, if you really want a cover utility character, and as everyone keeps saying in chat here, it's an EX token away. And if you've been diligently using your daily hunts to get EX tokens, you should have enough to do it now, or you can start doing it now and pick it up by next month. But she is not a cure-all.
She's not carrying any Lufanias.
She's not carrying. She's a patch. All right. Just like any of the past characters, it is a patch to fill any holes in your roster. She's not carrying.
Yeah.
I have a comment, guys. She's like the true spirit of Halloween. She has tricks and she has treats. The tricks are blind and the sketch debuff hold shenanigans, and the treats are all the battery you're going to enjoy. And of course, beating some early Lufanias without maybe having to pull. That's a pretty good deal to me. I mean, but at the same time, you might just want to pull the event characters too when they come around. Those are some pretty good event characters when they do come around in that first month too, such as, like, again, Warrior of Light, Kurasame, and Kuja. I don't know. I probably want to pull on at least one of those.
And someone in chat is saying, please let people know that when you purple Realm's 90 CP armor, which is a wedding dress, she gains the domination passive.
Yeah, she does. Wait till we get her new armor. It's gonna even be better. But yeah, there's been a lot of talk about characters that are kind of budget for Lufania, and there are certainly characters that you can bring into Lufania, but the majority of people I don't see playing as ultra conservative with their resources. Now, we have some friends in our circle of friends who have well over 1 million gems. They're very conservative with pulling, and they try to get as much mileage out of characters as possible, so they don't have to pull. So, but that seems to be like a very few number of people. Like, most people pull for new characters because they want new things. I mean, I do, right? I mean, I pull for new characters to make mad YouTube money. I mean, that's why I pull. But I mean, I'm sure some of you pull for, better reasons. Like I just like to have new toys to play with. So if you're constantly pulling, you'll probably be okay.
Yeah, and to add on to that, Mark, as you said, most people are constantly pulling anyway, so you don't really need a character that's going to save you resources. But this is for people who want to hoard and want to save resources and can milk out characters as much as possible. The last couple of characters we're getting heading into Lufania are very, very utility oriented. Realm's utility is constant battery, the turn manipulation. So even when you're broken, the enemy doesn't get like a million turns in a row, right? And there's the blinds there. Everything she does now has sketch, so she's going to be constantly getting those turns no matter what. And the elemental coverage. And the next character also has a lot of utility no matter how much his stats get crept, which we can talk about. And someone in chat is saying, a lot of people in chat are saying, oh, just wait for Strago LC and Relm LD will come to pull or something. And people are saying, well, we don't know it's going to be Relm LD. And it's true, it's still a month away. We don't know who's getting the LD, guys. The schedule's staggered now so that when it comes, this banner will be gone. So you can't wait on that anymore. But also, a lot of people are saying it's not going to be Relm LD because she's already so good. Well, look at Fujin and Barrett. Fujin got her tuning pass, her EX plus 4-5 months ago. Barrett got it 10-11 months ago. And then when the LD came back, Fujin got it and not Barrett. You guys have to realize not everything runs on logic. They're going to buff who they're going to buff. Not everyone's going to be treated fairly. So let's not always count on the terrible character getting the boost, because we've seen Ash and Zell and all these people go over a year and a half without any tuning pass. It's not out of the ordinary.
Yeah, and Retro Gamer Dad is asking, is early Lufania going to be so restrictive like early Chaos was? Not nearly as much. There's a little bit of a lull into Lufania, but it's still going to be completely different than you're used to. So in that sense, it's not just going to be harder content. It's a whole different type of fight, having to manipulate the Lufania orb. So in that sense, it's not just another level of difficulty. It's a different mechanic. So it's going to be getting used to that new mechanic. But yeah, some of the early fights are a little bit easier to go. So hey, there's another character who is also on this banner. He's actually a new character. And Realm's grandpa, his name is Strago, and he is a magic attacker. And if you look at his infographic, of course, TonberryTroupe.com, beautiful infographics. This one's very nice. Magic attacker is his only role. That is all he does. He attacks things with magic, and he attacks things with magic very, very well. I'm not going to go through all the breakthroughs. You can look at the infographic, but just to kind of cover what he does massive AoE magic damage. He does double attacks, so all of his attacks can hit twice because he has this special buff, which is almost always on if you have his LD and his EX. But one thing that he does that is very nice is instant break. Guaranteed instant break. Kefka has that mechanic, right? But there's a chance that his EX will instant break. Odin or one of our summons has a chance to instant break when you press it, right? Is that Odin?
It's Odin.
Yeah. Strago has instant breaks on multiple abilities, which is super, super nice. Yeah, so I mean, it's just, it may not seem real nice. Is it 100? Taz is saying, is it 100%? I thought it was still a chance with Kefka's EX realization.
No, with EX Plus, it's 100%.
It is 100%, okay.
There's also a couple of characters like Trey, who there are a couple of characters out there with instant breaks, but nowhere near on demand as Strago, yeah.
Yeah, and his LD is just on demand instant break, which is super, super nice. And why is it super nice? Because there's going to be characters that generate a ridiculous amount of brave in Lufania, and you need to break them. That's how you break the mechanic. And so right now you might think, although this fight is going to be like that as well. You're going to need to use that mechanic. So it's something that doesn't need to be underrated. he's not bad at all. He's probably doing the most magic damage of any of our mages right now. He does just consistent damage, and he has the ability to instant break. So that's basically all he does. But that's a lot for what you're getting. Aaro, as you looked at the kit, anything you want to add to him?
Having double casting back-to-back AoE seems pretty fun. I mean, this is kind of like, I know character comparisons are bad, but, Vaughn has those follow-up type things going on with magic attacks. But hey, Strago doesn't have elements, and he's going to do it on AoE. He's going to cast that bad boy skill one time. He's going to follow it up again and do it all over again. And this includes, I think, his HP plus and his Brave plus. Does anyone know if they can confirm that? Because I swear when I saw videos, that's what was going on too. So it is kind of cool. It's a neat mechanic, and having Brave Break, instant Brave Break is very useful. Depending on how you play, it is probably up there as one of the most useful things in the game. It's very, there's no there's nothing that's been there to really stop those kinds of abilities. So they're very potent, and that's why they're so darn rare. But hey, this is a guy who can do it on demand. That's great. I like that. If I wind up with his kit for free tonight, or, maybe after putting in a couple tickets, I wind up with it, I'd probably go all the way and purple him.
Yeah. What do you want to add?
I dislike, to defend BC's point here, I really dislike people saying selfish DPS, no utility. The reason why Strago can be used for so long is because his utility is breaking. That's the fucking point. Like, people are like, oh, it's DPS can be replaced by any DPS. The thing about Strago is he has so many ways to instantly break no matter what the fuck the enemy's Brave is at, that is his utility. And that, breaks also, he has unbreaks, they lead to delays, they lead to slight battery to the party. But the most important thing is there are a lot of DPS out there that don't Brave Shave the best, which is fine. Say like X-Death or something that just do massive damage, but they don't Brave Shave. Strago covers your Brave Shaving, period. He has the most on-demand break with the LD. A lot of people are saying his S2 is conditional because the Brave needs to be divisible by 2 to break. Well, as we were saying, at endgame, a lot of bosses tend to cap their Brave all the time, either through self batteries or phase transitions, like, oh, fuck you, I'm going to max out my Brave now. Or they're just going to hit you. They have a fast move that just really caps out their Brave. All max Brave is divisible by 2. How that move is designed to be used is, like, no matter how much Brave they have at cap, Strago can just destroy it. Okay, and that is the utility. Not only the breaks, not only the delays, but not needing to worry about playing defense, not needing to be like, oh, I need a Brave Shave, I need a Brave attack here, so this guy's not going to fucking kill me. Like, if most of the time, if you, like, and Strago comes so well paired with, like, say, Edward, because if you can get their Brave to 0, not only does it take them a while to build up to be a credible threat, but with the proper debuffs, broken enemies aren't going to kill you out of nowhere. And that is his utility. And people are saying, why do I see Strago in videos 3-4 months from now when there are other people doing way more DPS than him? They're like, look at Pestle BT is out there carrying his DPS. The only reason he's doing competitive DPS is because he's getting buffed as shit. And the point is, that's not why people bring him. They bring him for the instant breaks. So you don't have to worry about damage coming in. It's almost a defensive feature. You're delaying the enemy, you're reducing their attack power, and you're never worrying about getting one shot out of nowhere. And that is the utility. People need to stop thinking DPS is a bad or bland thing, or look beyond what they do. What do they do differently than other DPS? And the thing is, it's never a gamble to shave as hard as you want. It's, I'm going to hit a button, all your Brave is gone, no matter what. One thing you guys didn't mention that I want to mention is to get the double cast buff on. It does revolve a lot around breaks. The EX gets it on for sure, but that's, not reliable. The LD gets it on for sure, and that is limited. But the S2, if you can break with the S2, you get it as well. So you're always watching for opportunities to break.
It's break or when attacking a broken target.
Right, but you're always watching to break with Strago. basically, is what I'm saying. He's also far more reliant on attack because he does double dumps.
Yep.
So he you don't battery him up and then he does big overflow. No, he does double dumps. So he's more reliant on attack and more hindered by brave damage reduction than most DPS. And finally, there was one more.
Sipes was asking, because we were talking about enemies who cap their brave. To this point, most enemies have capped their brave at an even number. I believe there's one Lufania where enemies will cap their brave at 999,999, or 99999. But anyway, and then you only do like one brave damage to them, so you basically have to do one brave damage and then he breaks them. But generally speaking, Alexander had that 99999. So there are some instances where his instant break from brave to death, that's his skill 2, which instant breaks when they have an even number, that would not work. His LD would still work because it unbreaks and breaks.
Right. He still has the LD as the backup. And then the last thing I want to bring up is a lot of people saying there are other characters that re-break too. I mean, instant break. They're not as on demand, and they are all debuff reliant. Strago can do it to people that are immune to debuffs, and he's unique in that niche as well.
Well, let's look at the podcast polls. I forgot to go to Emperor. On the 12 servers, and again, thanks Quetzalma Materiabot for doing this. On the 12 servers, we had 2 people pitying the BT, 28 people pitying the LD, 14 using gems, 191 using tickets on Emperor LD, and 86 skipping. Now, interestingly enough, on this banner, which isn't live yet, so let me update it again. 7 people, because this is the last Kefka banner, 7 people chasing Kefka's BT on this, 12 people willing to pity Strago's LD. That seems like a lot. On 11 servers, this is currently on. 7 people using gems, 102 using tickets, and 50 skipping. So, so good luck to all of you using that. This will have a chaos fight and all of that. It's obviously not live yet. It's live in 1 minute, and we'll probably end the show a little early and do polls during the post show. So there you go. Any other thoughts on? Oh, Ash gets her character boards. Ash sucks. It's the worst.
Final comments, and then I'll hand it to you, Aaro, in case you have any follow-ups as well, is we talk up these characters a lot, but honestly, I'm ticket pulling tonight because while we always make sure people value what these characters bring, that's not to always say these are always the best picks, pull every week. It's just, this is what they bring to the table. I want Strago not enough to throw gems, because if I do come into a brave shaving issue, I plan to brute force it with new units. Or like Realm and turn manipulation. If I need help on Lufania, I'll pull on new units. Pulling newer is always better. It's just that if there are crazy people out there who are hoarding 2 million gems and really want to milk out their resources, these characters really do have a lot of long-term utility to consider.
Aaro?
Yeah. Do you have any final thoughts?
I don't know. I mean, I get why people are saying they think, Realm appeared more in early Lufania, and that's what people are, that's what's on their minds right now. But if you happen to think Strago's kit sounds interesting and you think you could make it work, it does have some very useful utility. There are going to be some awful fights where having on-demand gravity breaks like Strago's stuff will be super clutch. If you're lacking other choices for that role in the future, this is the guy to pull. You also have an extra character that'll wind up being pretty useful as well. And hey, I mean, Ash is here. I mean, if you like her, you could, there's worse banners you could have gone for this, at this point. So hey, I'm going to leave it at that, because I just think a lot of the time people get too focused on what one guy does, but doesn't really think about what the other guy, who's also on the banner that's very good, can do. So I'm going to leave it there.
Well, let's do this. Aaro, are you planning to pull on this banner?
No, I'm gonna do my free
do
pool and
free
maybe
pools.
some tickets, but that's where I have to put a hard stop on a couple of these banners.
Yeah.
Because I know there's a lot coming up, and I have Trey. I feel like with that, a lot of these things that I know are coming up, I'll be okay because I have one of the options.
Well, let's do our free polls, and then Aaro, if you want to share some of the podcast questions, we can do that while we do ticket polls. I think Mino's ticketing too, but I'm doing ticket polls on stream. Does that sound okay?
Yeah, I gotta load the game, but yeah, I can totally
load
do
up
that.
the game. I'm gonna do my pro tag poll. Oh, gold orb, woohoo! And I got it doesn't matter. I have them all. Well, let's go to the Strago. Hey, this is the time for polls. Good luck, everybody. I hope you get all of your polls soon. I don't know. Yeah, let me do my free poll here and see what we get. I love polling on stream. I love it. It's the best.
What the fuck? To the feed.
Yes, content creator. That's our first question. Content creator. Thank you, Squex Joshua. Thank you, Squex Glacier. I hope you enjoyed that cake I sent you this week. Yes. Thank you. Oh, there you go. Somebody clip that bad boy.
Okay, so do you guys want me to go with the first question tonight? I'm trying to
think
figure out which one is the first question. Hold on.
Yeah, final ASIM is the first question there from the 7th. I think it's appropriate. Oh my God.
Okay, so yeah, let's let Mark calm down first because he's obviously the mega lucky luck sacker over here, and I'm ready to get nothing because of it because I happen to be the last one to probably pull. So let's go. Maybe I'll get ace finally. All right, guys, let's find out. Can I finally get ace? Can I have a luck stack tonight? Oh, yeah, let's go. Okay, I got a gold orb on my pro tag banner. How about that?
How are all you other content creators doing? Because this is what I got to say to you. Woohoo!
Oh, I got an EX. It was lightning, though. Ew. I don't know what to say to that. I think this is going to be bad. Let's find out.
Yeah, so for all of you listening online on the podcast, my free poll was Ash35, Strago LD, and Kefka BT. So that's Aaro talking. I'm just going to let that sit up there for a while. That is nice. All 6 burst weapons are mine. Thank you. So, Aaro, what did you end up with?
A Strago 15 CP. I'm so lucky. I'm blessed. Hey, I got Lightning EX on the Pro Tag banner. I did not luck sack ace still. He continues to evade me.
Now,
well.
Now I'm gonna chase EXs with tickets. Can there be anybody better? Oh yeah, this is nice. All right,
we'll read final ASIM's question.
Please,
now. So,
I'm gonna use tickets.
Do you guys want me to read final ASIM's question?
Please.
All right, so hey guys, sup all. For a while now, content creator rate up on banner polls joke has been going on. Now, what if it was a real thing? As in, you actually do get rates up just because you are a content creator. What would each of the hosts think of the criteria needed to fulfill in order to be recognized as a content creator and get the rate up benefit? Is one YouTube video enough? Do you have to be a Twitch streamer? If possible, share your opinions. Thanks. I think, Mark, you should go first on this one.
Yeah, well, they are a real thing because you just saw me get it on stream, or if you were listening at home. So yeah, I think they just got to keep doing what they're doing. Thank you, Squex. I appreciate all of that. So, Mino, any thoughts? How's your content creator rate up going?
You know, I honestly wouldn't be opposed if this was an actual system because there are other games that do it. I don't know if like the biggest. So I know AAA games and big time MMOs at least let streamers and big content creators test run and showcase content early on test servers or so. And I know there have been cases with gacha and smaller games that let streamers play with kits with everything unlocked, because you know how we have all these content creators that do showcases and should you polls, and devs will lend them the kits to do it because that really is free advertising. So I think it's only a good business move to allow it. And of course it'd be like a Twitch partner thing where you'd have to stream so many times, make all the content. Pokemon Masters highlights a lot of content creators, Mortal Kombat, no, really, a lot of games really support streamers and let them play with full kits to advertise. And it's really good free advertisement. It really doesn't cost them the company anything. But I know Square Enix is a little more old-fashioned in their business practices. I don't think they do it, but I think it would literally only be win-win if they allowed it.
Well, they sponsored one of our streams, Mino. Remember that? We had all the spoils from that. That was. Oh, Aaro, do you want to share another question?
We have this one from Taz, and as myself and a few others have started hitting the 50 burst token mark, are there any currently available? You can include the next BT on Monday that you feel would be worth the tokens for meta or content clearing purposes, or any coming up in the near future. Or you just feel it's better to use the tokens on favorites. Ooh, that's going to depend on so many factors. Do you guys want me to go first on this one?
Please.
Yeah. So, I mean, okay. So, out of all the BT, the one that's truly the winner to me right now, if you had to pick one, would be Noctis. If you, for some reason, didn't get Noctises, that's the one to get. That just completely changes how you can play Noctis so much compared to any other BT so far, that I think it's the one worth considering. And now, again, you can still hoard them for those tokens for a little bit, because you get 90 days to claim items from the treasure bin when they're sitting there. So I mean, yeah, this is why, guys, if you get those dupe BTs, you don't just sell them right away, by the way, because you can only hold 50 of them. But if you are somebody who is on that major super cool Mog Pass and you are hitting near 50 tokens, I mean, I don't know, just look at your roster. And if you are missing a favorite, I always go for favorites first. So that would be, but if you are a meta sheep, unlike me, you darn normies. No, I'm kidding. Okay, I'm kidding around. Go for Noctis, because he really does change a lot with that BT.
Yeah, so those of you listening online, I don't know how many tickets I started with, like 530, but I'm less than 30 tickets in, and I just got Ash and Strago's EX. So so 30 tickets for 2 EXs, an LD, and a BT is pretty good investment. Do I keep pulling for Relm? I don't have Relm's EX. I got Strago's 35 too, so I have all the weapons. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, as talking about burst tokens, I am not exchanging. I see people like selling all their burst token, all their extra BTs right away. I don't get that. I see all their people using their Mog Pass tokens. Like, save them, until you can't use them anymore. There's no reason to use them. Because I'm already at 50. I didn't realize I had that many till I looked the other day. I don't need Warrior of Light's burst. I'm going to be pulling on 2 banners. I hope I get it. I may be tempted to use it on Kuja, but I'm pulling on 2 banners on Kuja. So if I don't get it after I pull on Gladio, I may consider using it on Kuja. He's a favorite of mine. Lightning is a character that I wasn't planning to go real hard on, but maybe getting her, if I get her LD easily enough, maybe I'd consider using it on her. Same way with Cloud. And none of them are for me must have. The next must have burst for me is Paladin Cecil. Although Cloud has some good utility in early Transcendence, the next Dimensions End kind of tier. So if I don't end up getting Cloud on the 2 banners I'm pulling on for him, that might be a good one. But yeah, I think it's going to be more about, using those burst tokens is going to be more about, which burst I didn't get, and one I actually want. Like I would like Cloud. Cloud's is really cool. Just visually, I think it looks cool. Cloud and Sephiroth are favorites. Warrior of Light's a favorite. Lightning isn't real high on my list, but she's really good. So, Mino, you have any thoughts on that? I'm trying to decide if I should use more tickets for Relm CX.
Yeah, I
don't think so.
As one of our mods says on TCC, always live in the future.
Yeah.
And by Transcendence Tier 1, there are only 3 proven BTs that beat it on launch, not using power crept people from the future. And it was Pestle, unanimously, every single person ran Pestle. Cloud, much used, and if not Cloud, then Ramza. Because you needed 2 BT users, you needed a launcher, you needed holy damage, and you needed defense and healing. So though the requirements proven in JP, and of course, the argument's always GL has a bigger player base. Maybe when we hit there, we'll find more solutions. But right now, the only mandatory BTs in my head are Pestle and Cloud. So I'm saving tokens, and then once Transcendence drops, and if I missed any of those, because Cloud and Pestle are both available when it drops. Cloud comes back with the LD boards on the revamped beginner banner, and Pestle is the active BT while Transcendence is up. So if I miss either, I'm tokening that for Transcendence. That's the plan. I'm always looking at what are the most restrictive fights, what do they need?
Yeah. All right. Let's Star Scourge Jester asks, which LD characters coming up are the host most interested in? So Aaro, of the coming couple banners, what are you most interested in?
Well, I'm always going to say but that's still like 3 months away. So, we got to fill up some other LD before that. Next month, I do kind of want Kurasame because I like cute boys, and cute boys always get gems or tickets from me. So I'm going to go with that.
Well, I'm planning to gem pull Warrior of Light, Kurasame, Kuja, Gladio, Sephiroth, Cloud, and Beatrix. So there you go. That's a lot. Of those, Gladio's stupid broken. Kuja's awesome farming, especially for boards. Yeah, Kurasame and but Gladio's got a lot of longevity because he just does everything that every other defensive character does, but does it all. So yeah, so I guess that's the one I am kind of looking. I like tanks in general.
So, guys, I just want to update. I did put about 50 tickets down, and I got Strago LD, but no EX. So I'm gonna have to be one of those EX token people for if I want to play him very soon. But I don't have enough tokens, so I'm gonna have to earn them over time. He won't be ready till next month if I do that.
For me, are we talking about fun to play or power? Because power is obviously Gladio, right?
Yep.
That's the thing I'm gem pulling for. But if I could have a magic LD fall into my lap, it would be Gauss.
Oh, yeah.
I really think his playstyle is fun. I really regret missing out on him the first time. And if I had the resources, I'd go for him. But then again, remember, always the reason we have different co-hosts is because we have different play styles. My play style, my goal is the road to 1 million. So, of course, my next gem pull is Gladio.
How close are you? You're pretty close, aren't you?
I posted a screenshot in our Discord the other day. I'm at 80k gems. Let me see if I can find it.
You're at 80,000 gems.
I'll find the screenshot for you.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure you're at 80,000 gems. You got to be over 800,000. Be Lucky asks, do you think they need to rework the break bonus? With the exception of the enemy, it's not a great benefit to the player. Would love to see a kit that significantly increases the break bonus, or rework changing the break bonus periodically to add a random buff or debuff. That would make me pay more attention to the game mechanics. So, Aaro, Yeah. Oh man, only 80. Yeah. Minos Spellgood's at 80,000. I don't know what that smudge on that is there, but yeah. So yeah, very sad. So, but you're catching up. You're catching up. So you'll be there someday. So, Aaro, what do you think about, is break bonus just a bygone mechanic that is dead, or is there some things they can do to make break bonus great again?
I think if they are to make something better, I don't know. I like break bonus. It's really you have to pay attention to it because of the enemy. Because if they break you, they're getting a lot more brave because there tends to only be like one or two of them. And that means they get all of that break bonus to themselves, or they split it between two. And the break bonuses, guys, are only getting larger as the difficulties ramp up. So I guess if we're asking on the player side how to make it better, Bahamut's coming back soon, and he increases your break bonus. I think like what, 20% or something. That's not a minuscule amount, but and then of course characters who can constantly break or re-break, get those break bonuses over and over again for the party. That can add up. I think there's ways they could definitely make more like a mechanic for a character. I guess it revolves around utilizing the break bonus, but I don't know how they would potentially implement such a character, or if it would be worth the time at this point. I still think it's worth paying attention to always, because it has saved me from death before. Getting in that break bonus just to get that little bit, the extra 3K, can make all the difference in certain fights. It's minuscule, but when it matters, it really does matter.
I mean, it's a really easy fix whenever they want to do it. As Aaro said, through summons, we have Bahamut. If that keeps scaling whenever they want, they can just make it a big deal. There's a lot of summons with shitty passives that they just buff out of nowhere when they decide to. For example, if it went from what was it, 80% HP requirement down to 50 or something, a lot of summons get reworked a quarter of the way into Lufania. Bahamut has yet to get his 40. Like if they wanted to, they can be like, all right, there's Bahamut's time to shine. Break bonus is going to be a big deal. Or they can easily just throw a character out there that really, really benefits from break bonus. Like, oh, I get triple break bonus or something. I increase break bonus. It's a fertile design space right there. They probably have like another 50 characters planned. Have some of them revolve around break bonus. And also it scales with difficulty. So maybe the difficulty after Lufania, it'll scale even better and be a bigger reward. But like it's easy to work around it. It's not a dead mechanic if they want to focus on it.
Yeah. Well, I think we'll save the other questions for future weeks as we cleaned up everything older than 1 week old. So looking ahead, we have the Squex community stream next week. Likely, we will get in the following weeks Act 2, Chapter 11, Part 2, which is Warrior of Light LDBT, 8's Lost Chapter, Kurisame's event, Ultimate Bahamut with Kuja's rework LDBT, Gao's Lost Chapter, and Gladiolus event for the next month. The next two cycles are Warrior of Light cycle and Kuja cycle. Hope they're as good to me as Kefka cycle has been very generous to me. So thank you, Kefka. Always pull for enemies is what I'm going to say. So special thanks to Minos Spellgood for jumping in here talking about Relm and Strago. Thanks to Aaro. Again, Kreese is fine. He just had a last-minute family thing he needed to help with. And all of our other friends are fine too. They were just working because, they have jobs and stuff. So, but do connect to us, tccpodcast.com. If you're watching on YouTube, like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. If you're on Twitch, we follow us so that you know when we're live. We do appreciate your subs there as well, bits and all that kind of stuff. Join our Discord, Facebook, Twitter. TCCpodcast.com has all the links to that. I also include it in the notes by a podcast, by YouTube, wherever it is. Special thanks to all of our friends. I have all of their links. Aaro's channel, Kreese's channel, Mino's channel. Although I didn't see, did we do a Strago Reddit character evaluation? I didn't miss it, did I?
That I'm not doing character evaluations ever again.
Well, we got one. We got one. That was nice. Maybe someday again we'll get another one. But yeah, shout out to all of our friends. And until next time, friends, this has been episode 124 of the Crystal Chronicles, recorded on October 22nd. Good luck watching the debate if you're doing that. I didn't have a mute button for Aaro or Mino, so we made it through without any problems. I'm guessing the debate's not going that well. But we'll check you out next week with all the news from the Squex community stream. Appreciate you all joining us. It's been a great night, a lot of fun, and we'll talk to you next time. Goodbye.